Hey everybody, hey, it's April 15th, tax day. I'm glad I'm wearing the shirt that says Patriots. Alright, I should just put it, block out and say Patriot, man. Because, like the last 15 or 16 or I don't know how many years, alright, I got fucked again by Uncle Sam, okay? And even though in previous years I had this deduction or that, I always paid some federal tax liability, okay? But what's interesting, okay, is the fact that 47%, it's all over the web, alright, people in the United States, alright, taxpayers had no liability, none whatsoever. And I'm like, wow, I mean, that is like the tipping point, alright? And, they talk about the Tea Party and the Tea Party rallies, all right? And I see it as something even bigger. I see it as the point where people who pay are sick of the people who don't pay, okay? And there's a poll that came out about, today about, the Tea Party makeup. Most of them are highly educated. They make X amount of money and this, that, and the other thing. And they're mostly white, okay? Well, I guarantee you, if you go to a immigration reform rally in Los Angeles, the absolute will be totally opposite. Okay, totally opposite. Okay, so I don't have to spell it out for you, but that's where your tax dollars are going. No question about it. Okay, so all right, here's the deal. Okay, I had, between the state and the feds, I had, $6,633 taken out, okay? And the state was generous enough to give me $12 back. But I got to, kick in another $205 to the feds, okay? And that works out to be $554 a month they took out of my fucking check because I only get paid once a month. All right, if somebody came to me and said, Dan, I'm going to take $50 out of your check every month, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with it, and I'd probably piss a lot of it away, I'd say you're out of your fucking mind, okay? All right. If this isn't being close to being like in the mafia in South Boston, and you own a convenience store, and you're getting a stronghold for extortion money, I don't know what is, okay? All right. So I made up a little list of both feds and the state, what I'll pay for and what I won't pay for. All right, let's go with the feds, okay? All right, I won't pay for troops overseas anymore, okay? There's no reason why we should be protecting anybody else in the entire world unless we're getting paid for it, okay? And if you watched any of my other previous videos, all right, South Korea, North Korea, we've been on that border forever. South Korea should be paying for every fucking penny of that, okay? And the same goes no matter where our troops are over the world, in the entire world, all right, with the first, the Iraqi thing with the Kuwaitis, all right? The Kuwaitis should have foot the bill for every fucking penny of that, but we're a bunch of suckers in this country, okay? All right? Another thing, all right, I wouldn't pay for another plane or battleship to be built in this country for the Naval, the Air Force, the Marines, or whoever, all right? Because you know why? Because that's not going to win the war that's coming down the pike, okay? The war that's coming down the pike is going to be some asshole that's going to set off a fucking backpack on some subway in some major city, and then another one does, and then another one does, and then another one does, and it's going to scare the fuck out of everybody, okay? All right? Another thing I won't pay for is earned income credit for anybody and anything, okay? All right, you didn't earn anything, so you shouldn't get a fucking credit, okay? All right. Another thing I won't pay for, okay, is pork spending for selfish senators bringing back pork money to their fucking districts just to get reelected, okay? And if you go online, you can find this out all over the place. I mean, these senators just don't get it. They don't have a fucking clue. All right, they all should be ousted. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Okay. So that's what I won't pay for, okay? What I will pay for is troops stationed on the border between the United States and Mexico. But the stupid Janet Napolitano thinks that's not necessary. Well, I'd pay for that, okay? All right? Another thing I'd pay for is more intelligence, for more funding for intelligence gathering by the NSA and the CIA. Because the only way we're going to find out if these assholes are here or what they're up to is with intelligence. Not with a new tank or a new airplane or a new battleship. That just doesn't cut it anymore. All right? Right? And another thing I'd do is I'd fund, all right, money for assassination to foreign leaders who are a threat to the United States. But nah, can't do that because, you know, this country's turned into a bunch of pussies and that's the way it's going to be. Okay? All right, now let's go to the state level. Okay? All right, here we go. State level. What I won't pay for out of my state taxes that I pay. All right? I don't want the state funding education. Oh, and that goes to the feds too. Because any education should be funded at the town level. Okay? Real estate taxes should fund, all right, education. Okay? Because this is where it's got way out of hand. Okay? They essentially took the burden and passed it on to somebody else, and then passed it on to somebody else and said, well, you know, we can do pretty much whatever we want. You know, we don't really have any true budget constraints because we can just shove it on somebody else, like that Taj Mahal they're building in Newton, all right, that the taxpayers in Clinton are paying for, okay? Right? Another thing I won't pay for is welfare aid to dependent children or education for women that are on aid to dependent children, all right? If you were stupid enough to get knocked up, you find a guy who did that and get the fucking child support from them to pay your friggin' bills. Don't ask me to do it, okay? Another thing I won't pay for is state health insurance, okay? Mitt Romney's running all over the place saying, oh yeah, it was a good idea that he did this and the state, you know, is in charge of it, blah, blah, blah. That's a bunch of bullshit, all right? The feds are subsidizing the state health insurance plan in this state, which is ridiculous because you're only passing the burden, again, from the state to the feds, and I'm tired of paying for some asshole in Holyoke that doesn't have health insurance, and now I gotta pay for some asshole in fucking New Mexico that doesn't have health insurance. So that pisses me off, okay? Alright, and I don't want to pay for any more toll takers on the Mass Pike, okay? They're making $60,000 making change. The poor sap that works at McDonald's, okay, that's making change at the drive-thru is probably more polite than that asshole on the fucking turnpike, and he's only making $8.50. So, sorry, I won't pay for that anymore, okay? Alright, my state thing is pretty limited, alright? I'll pay for state police, except on work details, absolutely no work details, and I'll pay for civilian flaggers on work details as long as they don't get paid $50 an hour. $15, pretty much anybody would in this economy would do that for that. But because it was legislated that they you know, need to make a certain amount of wage, you know, the state decided, well, $50 an hour is okay, all right? And I'd pay for the efficient rebuilding of the state's roads, bridges, and infrastructure. Not this fiasco like the Big Dig and this fucking bridge I drove over for two years going to work. It took them 2 years to, you know, rebuild a bridge where they built a whole new shopping center in Hudson in less than a year. I mean, efficient. That's the key word here. Okay. So there we go. Okay. All right. $554 a month. The Fed and the state took from me. I pay $700 in rent. Okay. All right.